Hey guys, Divine here. Today I'm bringing you the third episode of my merchanting review series for merch.com. I was glad to see all my predictions about the update were right, but ironically I couldn't invest as much as I wanted, because I was completely taken up by my studies. So the first time we heard about this update was on the 28th September in the behind the scenes video. It was literally only mentioned in the last few seconds, where the guy says, if you like the changes to God Wars, you'll love what's in store for the King Black Dragon. Now at this point the merchant in you should wake up, because the God Wars rework was mainly graphical, but they also added new drops. It seems like they don't go about graphically updating a boss alone, they add new drops too to actually make people want to go there to enjoy their content. Now at this point you have no clue what the new drops will be, and it doesn't matter either. The drops could be a new vegetable or Justin Bieber CDs or whatever, and people would still camp there 24/7. Now at this point you don't know yet if there will be drops, but you do know that a lot of other people will watch that video and start investing, and that you'll find out more in 3 days time when they put the behind the scenes post for October up. So that means you can already start investing at this point, and if it goes wrong, you can just quickly pull out with little to no damage. Now another key thing about the King Black Dragon update is the fact that it is a rework, which means that we have knowledge of the past, which is of course very useful, and very different from a new boss where you don't know the gear and the strategies and those things. So at this point you should ask yourself, what do I know about the King Black Dragon and what items relate to that? So I decided to do this myself for the video, and what do I know about the King Black Dragon? I know you have to reach it through the wilderness, so people like using the Beasts of Burden familiars to have to bank less. It is a dragon. Now the Dragon Fire Shield seems like the most logical option, and like at this point I realize it will rise for sure, but Antifire potions will be far more popular because people want to use stuff like their claws on the boss to get the kill, which is also mentioned below. It is a fairly low level for a boss, so people want to claw spec to get the kill, to get the loot, and there is less demand for food because the King Black Dragon really doesn't hit that much. Now back to the news post where you can see that they are describing the new drops. The main thing you should keep in mind here is the fact that new drops might affect items that are already in game. And you should not only look for opportunities to invest in if these items crash to a really low point, but you should also keep in mind that you might have some items yourself that, or some investments that will crash because these new items come into the game and mess up the market. So yeah, if we look at the items here, you can see that they bring out new boots and gloves, which will give prayer bonus, but people prefer strength bonus over prayer bonus, so that isn't really an important one. And if you look at the ornament kits for the Dragon Kite Shield, I don't know, they might cause Dragon Kite Shields to rise, but Dragon Kite Shields are really high for how good they are, so it's a bit risky to invest in those, in my opinion. And but then the most important part here is the fact that they're adding a, like seriously, they're adding a teleport to the King Black Dragon from Edgeville. So that means that the Beast of Burden familiar investment I suggested earlier might not be so good after all, because people can easily reach the King Black Dragon. So in no order really, let's just start with the Dragon Fire Shield. As you can see, it starts around 5 mil each. This is right before the update, before the first behind the scenes video. When the video comes out they rise to like 5.5 each pretty quickly, but they go back down because people don't know yet if there will be drops, what exactly the update will be. And as you can see here, the October behind the scenes post comes out and they quickly rise to about 5.8. Yeah, as you can see they remain around 5.8, 5.9 for a pretty long time. A very stable rise, very slowly. And then here, as you can see, right before the update, they peak at 6.4 and right after that they crash back down. Which just shows how much of the rise is because of people investing. And yeah, as you can see they crash back down pretty badly here. And this is all because the kills are being taken by people with claws. And that's why there's people who won't really use the Dragon Fire Shield. So that brings us to Dragon Claws. They start at 11.6 mil before the update. And yeah, here's the first video and they rise up to around 12 mil. And then they remain pretty stable for a while, until the point where behind the scenes post is, and then they slowly, very slowly start rising, and here they really take a big jump. And then they rise seriously massive amounts. There's so much money that could be made here. And again, right after the update is announced, first at 15.3 and then back down to 13 mil in almost no time. And yeah, as you can see here, they remain pretty stable, but higher than before because people are still actively using them to get kills.
Spartans!
I love that line. Now you can see me here in the background cuddling with the King Black Dragon in my Spartan gear with my steel hasta. And as you can see, you really don't need awesome gear or stuff like that or a big team to kill it. I hardly even use food. The only problem really is finding a world, because it's completely packed. I had to hop like 50 times to find this one. And I also have to say they did a really awesome job on the graphical rework. They also did a graphical rework for dungeons, but I'll get to that a bit later.
This is Sparta!
Oh my god, bank loot! Now, as for the graphical rework for the dungeons, I wasn't sure what exactly they would do. At first I thought they may be replacing certain objects and things like that, and just making the whole dungeon different to put bot makers off. But then again, bot makers usually adjust their bots to the new situation, and then they're back up to full strength again, which wouldn't really impact the market a whole lot. So it sounded like an okay investment, but I personally decided not to go for it because it wasn't that convincing, you know? Now at this point here I actually get crashed. Pretty funny because he logs in like right after I did half the kill, which means he cannot get the drop anymore. Yeah, he still helps me out to kill it, but what is he thinking? I can easily do it myself and I still got the drop, so... yeah, he looks a bit odd in his runeplate, buddy. Not sure, like I would almost think he's a bot, but that's probably not the case. Anyways, that wraps up this part. Let's get on with the video and talk about the other items that were influenced by this update. The first one is the Antifire potion. Of course, one of the main items of this update, one of the first items you'll think about when you think about the King Black Dragon. As you can see here, they first crash back down, but as soon as the video is out, from there on they start rising a lot. Now, I'm not sure what exact prices they went to, as we don't have live graphs on this item, but I'm pretty sure it could be somewhere around 6 to 8k each or something. Definitely a lot. People need these even if they use spec weapons and such, and they also need them to make super antifires if they wish to do so. Now, one of the supplies to make antifire potions is the dragon scale dust. As you can see here, they rise. That's all before we have any news of the King Black Dragon, and they crash back down. Now, some people asked me like, why didn't they rise too? Because I invested in them. Now, they didn't rise because the first focus of people is the Antifire potion, and once the supply of that runs out, because those are actually being used, once the supply runs out, then people will need to make more, and that's when the supplies will start rising. Now, it's not only the Dragon Scale Dust that's being affected, because lantadyme is the other item, which I'm going to show you in a moment. As you can see here, Dragon Scale Dust at 660 each. I really don't know what exact prices they went to, but they probably made a nice rise, and it also depends on if the bots for those are still around or not. I'm not sure. So the clean lantadyme, as you can see here, same pattern as the other one. So they crash after the announcement, and then a while later they start rising. And the last part of the graph is all due to the announcement for the bonus XP weekend, which was not going to happen according to Jagex, but it still did. Yeah, it's like I'm not going to talk about that here now. I'll make another video about it, but I'm still not happy with it. As you can see here, the full graph of the last one, the last half a year, I think. Yeah, they haven't been this high in ages, and let me find it. I think it's about here. At this point here, I had about 2 bill worth of clean lantadyme. Now I can pretty much punch myself because they're almost 3 times their original price. Yeah, I never thought Jagex would make another bonus XP weekend. That's what they said, so I sold them. So that pretty much wraps up this video. I hope you learned some useful stuff. As usual, follow us on Facebook, check out the free trial, and yeah, I see you guys for the next video. That's probably going to be for the bonus XP weekend, if that is going to happen at all. We'll see, Jagex. We'll see.